they can never be replaced. But still Jaja chose to remember my face. Though I never lived like he wanted, I'm still mindful of what he taught me. So now I beg and plead, I'm on my bending knees.
All righty, good evening everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Cuckoo Chats. Cocoa Chats with me, your host, Marian Dozier of CocoWire.net, the website that provides news, events, and useful information to communities of color in Palm Beach County. That's CocoWire.net if you want to know what's happening here with us in Palm Beach County. And as we do on this show and on CocoWire.net, we will continue to tell the stories of our communities of the African diaspora, which, as you are aware, I'm sure, are African Americans, Caribbean Blacks, and Native Africans, so that we all get a better sense of how rich and interesting our communities are. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I sent out this morning one of CocoWire's monthly digital newsletters, and there was lots in there. Guess what most of it had to do with? Protests, voting, even, as they're saying now, blacking out Independence Day. And if y'all want to receive copies of my newsletter, just go to the website, CocoWire.net, and sign up on, you'll see the sign up page. But there was another critically important topic mentioned today in the CocoWire newsletter, prayer. And in a sense, that's what today's guest focuses on. The Reverend Dr. J.R. Thicklin is president of the Palm Beach County Clergy Alliance, which was created in 2015 and advocates for the community through education, through justice, equality, through social, economic, and spiritual well-being. He has also worked for the last 11 years with the Sickle Cell Foundation of Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast, serving as a critical voice, educating our communities about Black infant mortality. And he is also the founder and CEO of Destiny by Choice, which works to halt domestic violence and fatherlessness and raise awareness about both of those issues. Indeed, domestic violence is the second topic, in addition to prayer, that has Reverend Thicklin's laser-eyed focus. But there's even more right now that he's focusing on. That's because, as the lead pastor of the Young Palm Beach County Clergy Alliance, Reverend Thicklin has also organized and led protests recently over the last month against police brutality, racial injustice, and systemic racism. If the Alliance did a viral march, for example, on this past Sunday because of you know what, though they had planned to host a real in-person march from Friendship Baptist Church in West Palm Beach to the Palm Beach County Courthouse downtown. Lots of clergy were there, though, via Zoom. It also held a prayer vigil on June 5th at the courthouse, which drew dozens of clergy, government officials, and elected officials, including West Palm Beach Mayor Keith James. The local media covered it, you guys, and the pictures and the videos of them all on their knees with their heads bowed, but not on anybody's necks. You know, it was really powerful. It really was. But what is really interesting and really different about Reverend Thicklin's pushbacks, though, about his protests, is that there is no raised fists, there is no rock throwing, there is no yelling. The focus is simple: prayer. Reverend Dr. J.R. Thicklin, welcome to Cocoa Chats on Super Jams Radio 103.7 FM. Yay!
Thank you so very much, Marian. It's always good to be with you. Thank you for all that you do.
And, you know, I cannot wait to hear why, you know, praying people, you know, you're a longtime minister, you know, you pray, you don't yell, you don't stick your fists in the air, you hold your hands together in prayer instead. But why did you and the Alliance decide to get involved in the George Floyd protest?
It would have been an injustice not to get involved in the George Floyd protest.
Really?
Because George Floyd murder became, if you would, the inflection point to this whole country on years and decades of police brutality and racism.
Mm-hmm.
And so as clergy, we understand the fact that there are many different emotions that are going out there, but we have a responsibility. We want everything that everybody else wants. We want reform and laws. We want criminal justice reform. We definitely want police reform. But we also know that the ultimate reform is got to be the reformation and a transformation of a heart. And so that's what we have to go to, because we've seen this play out before. This is not the first time we've been here. And I say that almost from a personal note, being born and raised in Selma, Alabama. And I was born at a time, I was a baby, of course, when the march with Dr. King and all those.
Wow,
things.
yeah,
Those
1963.
marches was very significant because of the fact they brought about the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and of course during that time the Civil Rights Act of 1964. But even this generation, the millennials, the Zs, they're asking, how are we here again if you guys did that? And I think that's one clear message why we're here again. Because for some reason we became very excited. We became excited, man. We finally got laws. We can ride on ride in front.
We're
of
good.
us.
Yep. We're good. Yeah.
But what we failed to understand, those things, it transformed laws, but it did not transform hearts. So I like to say it this way: it's like you going to the doctor for a complete physical, and they tell you, "Oh, your arms are good, your legs are good. You don't need an orthopedic." They look at you, "Oh, your skin is fine. You don't need a dermatologist."
Okay.
They look at you and say, "Oh man, your kidneys are good. You don't need to see the kidney specialist." But what they failed to say, that your heart was still messed up, or that your heart was messed, and that's what happened here in America. The heart of America still was not transformed, because that cannot happen by the signing of a pen. That must happen through our cultural identity, through us being able to look at certain truths. And so the Clergy Alliance understands the fact that our voices was needed, not just to be another protest, but to go there and to speak peace, but to also speak the fact that we do demand some things that they happen. But this time we refuse to take our foot off the gas, because we know what happened. It's like a squirrel running up the tree. It just kept running.
But do people hear you when you're praying instead of yelling and, fist in the air? Do people hear you, you think?
I think that's a beautiful thing about prayer in the spiritual realm. Those things that we do in secret, God rewards openly. It is things that we do in prayer that causes the hearts of people to change. And also frames the framework for where we're going. So do people hear us? Yes. I'm going to quote somebody. He's not a black man. Matter of fact, his name was St. Francis of Assisi, and he said something once that is so profound. He said, "Preach the gospel. Use words if necessary."
Wow.
And it lets us know that the power of who we are and the power that we possess is not necessarily limited to words, not just limited to prayer, but it's limited in our actions. It's limited in the fact that what we do behind the scene, we pray before we go out.
Right.
And that's biblical. We said Judah first because Judah meant praise. So you did that, and then you brought along the army behind it.
Right.
And that's the reason we're out first.
So what are y'all wanting to accomplish with y'all's protests? The same things or
The
something
same
different?
thing, but different things. Because
In what sense?
on June 5th, our first demonstration was, we were denouncing racism. We spoke out against it. We called it for what it was. We said that it's not right. We will not tolerate it anymore.
Right.
On June 28th, we were dismantling racism, meaning the fact that now we have to begin to pull racism apart piece by piece. And I need to let you know, and the audience know, that the church has a deep-rooted responsibility in racism in America.
Well, because when I hear, like, I've got a friend of mine who says that the white man used Christianity to control us. They used the church to.
That's partially true, and it's not true. Here's the partial truth: it is when we look at the white man in terms of European introducing this and controlling us once we're here.
Okay.
But Christianity came to Africa long before it came here.
Yeah,
So
he
now
said
we got
that
to go
too.
back
Yeah.
and look back in the late 1300s and even before then. So what we need to understand, the reason why Christianity has been such a tool inside of it, because the European used it to justify what we were doing. Some of your greatest classrooms were Sunday school teachers and deacons. And how can you say Amazing Grace and then go out there at the end of the day with your picnic basket and watch black men get lynched?
Okay. That's a good point though, that because about how Christianity, I mean, even when I think about our African diaspora and where we came from and how far ahead we were, by the time the white man came there to take control of us.
Exactly.
But that's another show. But one thing I'm just curious. You had mentioned earlier about the millennials and the Generation Zers in this protest. Do you agree that this is a new civil rights movement happening now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is not only a new civil rights movement, but I tell you, this movement here will probably be the last one of this century, and maybe the last one, period.
In what sense? What do you mean?
In this sense here, I do believe this. I do believe that we're ushering in the end time. I believe that without saying. I do believe that if we were not in the midst of COVID-19 at the same time that George Floyd was murdered, we would just be another footnote in history. You think about what happened.
But together.
Think about what happened. COVID-19 paralyzed the whole world. People at home, people can't do nothing. So guess what? God gave the world a front row seat to see a man die in such a way that if you had any type of consciousness, you had to stop and go, this is not right. So
globally.
We got a front row seat.
Yeah.
And so what it did, it brought out people from everywhere, because I believe that humanity still lives. I believe that in order for a person to be racist, they have to have a certain sense of dehumanizing people. They have to segregate and subjugate you to be lesser than what you are. But interesting, this younger generation said, this is just not right. I don't care what color you are. And so the difference between this march and the marches back in the 60s was that the fact these are multicultural, multi-diverse marches.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, in some marches I saw as many white and Hispanic folks as I saw black people.
And so what does that say to you, though?
That says to us that we've come a long way on one front. But it also says to us on another front, if you look at that, we haven't seen that type of diversity with clergy marches. Don't make me go there. Because, see, in order to uproot and dismantle racism, it's going to have to go right back to the church. There's no other institution that gathers people on a regular basis than the church. Only the school is in rival. But ask me, is there more churches than there are schools? Absolutely. Is there more churches than our fire departments? Yes, it is. Is there more churches than our police department? Yes. The church have a collective audience where they're in the business of informing people mind. White pastors, and I hope you're listening to me, if you never stand up and say that racism is wrong, then there's a problem with you. You're kind of like the COVID-19 virus. What do you mean by that? They say some people don't show symptoms. They're asymptomatic. Well, there are a lot of asymptomatic racists that are out there.
Okay.
No, they ain't showing the signs of the white sheets. They're not in Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
They don't have I hate you, but they demonstrate it in their silence, and they benefit from it because they don't say anything. And so their silence gives consent.
So do y'all have white members in the clergy?
We have a few white members in the Clergy Alliance, but our next move and part of the dismantling racism now is to call it out. Because, see, after the marches are over and all those things feel real good. We feel great. We shall overcome, liberated. But I understand the work is afterward. And the work now is the fact we have to have serious dialogue. I need to look, and I have met with a few white pastors.
Right.
We need to look each other directly in the eye and have a very uncomfortable conversation. And let's talk about the fact.
But have y'all had those uncomfortable?
I've had that with a few of them. Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. I want to talk to those that are housing 30, 40, and 50% black folks in their church. And I want to know, why is it that they have not spoken out in the sense? Why have they come out now? Why aren't they saying anything in this hour? Being silent, and don't give me the stuff that you haven't talked with national black pastors. You live here. Your church is here. It's a disrespect to me as a fellow black clergy that you don't think enough of me to have a conversation with me.
But why do you think that is, though? What explains it?
Because the seed of racism is still there. See, we have to understand, racism is not, everybody go to the extreme of racism. Think it's hating people, you're burning.
And see, that's kind of what I was kind of thinking too. Yeah.
Racism is the fact that I benefit from the white privilege that is given to me. Racism is the fact that I'm comfortable with you being seen as less than I am. See, you're fine. See, a lot of folks in the marches now, the multicultural march and things like that, a lot of those people that's great, because everybody can agree that police brutality is wrong and what we see is wrong. But if it was to really be given a litmus test of racism, many of them will peel off. Because guess what? They'll find out that they too have racist tendencies. They too are enjoying the privilege of being white. And see, when you live off your white privilege, and then you begin to demean and subjugate people, it's racist. So we have to understand, don't go to the extreme to define it, because racism is the great lie. It's the lie that America was built on, this country was founded on. Racism is the greatest lie. It's an artificial construct.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced racism?
That's the interesting thing. Being born and raised in Selma, Alabama, you
Yeah.
can't expect for me to experience racism.
Yeah.
So let me tell you the first place I experienced racism.
And how old were you?
Southern Boulevard, West Palm Beach, Florida, 25 years old.
Wow. After you moved down
After I
to
moved.
Florida.
Yes. So that's where I experienced it at here. Now, in Alabama, did I see things? Yes. As a young boy, 11 or 12 years old, I saw the Ku Klux Klan march right in front of me. Down
Wow.
Their
I
march
can't
was
imagine
a
that.
protest to our march that we had just had. So
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time. Okay?
Okay.
So as a little boy, being in those marches gave us a sense of purpose and that we had a responsibility in society. But I'm telling you, the first time I was ever called the N-word was on Southern Boulevard here in West Palm Beach, Florida, when we still had payphone, when the two gentlemen saw me on the payphone, looked me up and down. I noticed they was looking. They was driving a pickup truck with a Confederate flag in the back with a rifle going across the back.
Wow.
I got in the truck, I got in my car, and I took off, and they took off behind me.
And they were yelling nigga,
Oh,
nigga,
yeah.
nigga at the car?
Yeah, they sure was. They was yelling the N-word.
Yeah.
And I was Florida.
Have you ever been mistreated by the police?
Have I ever been mistreated by the police? No. I have to say that I have not been what I call mistreated. Have
Okay.
I come across a cop that was having a bad day? Yes. But me being who I am, believe me, at the end of that conversation, I was praying for him and sending him about his
And see, and that's what I kind of wonder about too. If some of these incidents that happen with these black men, is it because the black man had an attitude when the white police officer came and he was just like, "Why you bothering me, white man?" Or something like that. I don't know.
And that could be true.
Yeah.
Let me say something. There's a responsibility on each side. The
Good
truth is
point.
that one person is being
Good
paid
point.
to protect and serve. The other person there need to understand the safety of their own lives. I've had officers to speak in a harsh way, but you know what? Once again, I was able to, what I like to call, to basically diffuse them, disarm them through my words and my actions. And
Yeah.
oftentimes say, listen, I'm praying for you. I respect what you do.
Huh. Now, and that reminds me, I saw something that you had written that you had said, in order to rid our society of the cancer of racism, then our elected officials, our business, and our spiritual leaders need to get on the same team. Now, I know there have been some, discussions here with those populations of people here, these viral discussions. In fact, there's one coming up on July 9th that you might be aware of, with West Palm Beach Commissioner Corey Nearing and State Senator Bobby Powell and some other. Even that little young man that was I had him on the radio show a couple of weeks ago, Woodmeyer Pierre.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering if, they're going to have all these different voices in the room. They're going to have a church pastor there. They're going to have a white lady there. They're going to have a circuit court judge, Judge Harper.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, from where you sit, do you see this as something that will help, them talking, having all the right voices in the room? I mean,
I do think that. I think it does help.
Yeah.
But I also think that there must be a plan, or what I call a sustainability plan. Because right now, there are a lot of people that are really, they're pumped up because of the climate, what have just
Right.
happened.
Everybody's
And the fact that we keep having it. Think about it. Since George Floyd has passed, look at, we've had Rashad Brooks, we've had others since
Yep.
that time.
Since
And
then.
So it continues to be fueled. One of the things as the Clergy Alliance that we're doing is the fact we are now saying we must have dialogue. We want to form what we call in church cell groups. Those cell groups are going to be formed of pastors from different ethnicity. So it will never be a cell group with 4 white pastors and 1 black pastor, or 4 black pastors. We have to have a difficult conversation. And what that is, that's not just talking about good scriptures. It is talking about the reality. How have we failed in the scripture? For as much as we've done it to the least of these, we've done it also unto me. We have to look at those things. So those.
And you don't hear anybody talking about the Bible and
Racial
talking.
Equity Institute. We're talking right now to Racial Equity Institute, our organizers here, to be able that the clergy will go through Racial Equity Institute training. Why?
Here locally?
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I'm talking about. Why? Because we need to understand what racism looks like. See, racism is a big lie. And
And what do you mean?
One of the points from the Racial Equity Institute says that a well-organized lie is greater than a disorganized truth.
That's a T-shirt.
And that's what racism is.
Yeah.
Racism has been the well-organized lie in America, so much so that we've all bought into it. even into the point of our goals and aspirations. Certain things we didn't do because we saw our own limitation because we're black. And,
And so it didn't even
until those
attempt.
ceilings are knocked down, we don't know it. But there's much to be taught, and that's part of our plan is to be able to teach history and really understand history. Understand the whole term white people didn't even exist until the late 1600s. There was no white people. You understand what I'm saying? This is invented. This is an artificial construct.
Wow, interesting. Okay, so we've only got about 5 more minutes, but tell us, are there any local issues that y'all are going to, or local activities or anything that y'all are going to have coming up that you want people to know about?
Well, absolutely, and I want to say this to everyone. We're on the cusp of the school season starting again, and that's a big thing because the real question is, will it or will it not? And so one of the things is this: we see the numbers surging across the country and definitely here in Florida.
The coronavirus
Exactly.
numbers,
So
yeah.
listen, all my kids are now grown and they're gone, right?
Right.
I got grandbabies coming along somewhere. I mean, they're all under one now, but they're gonna get there one day.
Right.
I would not want to see anyone's kid, first of all, back in a classroom in the midst of this.
So you agree with Dr. Robinson that we should, what are you thinking then should happen?
Well, I think this. I think Dr. Robinson is a great leader. I think she definitely has the heart of community in hand. I think this. I think because we also understand our kids didn't do so well with the virtual learning, especially our black boys and things, that we now have to step in and save our own children. So we're reaching out to churches, especially churches that have spaces that have educational building. And what we want to do is have a conversation with those churches about, let's measure. Let's see how many students your place can hold social distancing. And then let's call upon the people in your church, retired school teacher, paraprofessional, those. Let's see if we can get them to come in and be able to work maybe 2 days a week inside of it, because we're going to find a hybrid way to do this. Why is this?
How is that going to work better than, having them to gather in a church as opposed to gathering at school? How is it?
Well, 3 things. Okay, so the school will not be able to accommodate everybody, even if it's social distance. There have been talk about, even days, odd days, this amount of kids there, that amount of kids there. With the church, 3 things. We know that our kids are there. We have people that are there to work with them through being a proctor in that place. The other thing it does, it frees the parent from being now stuck at home when they need to be working.
Yep.
And so that's one of the reasons that
That's driving a lot of parents crazy.
A lot of them crazy.
Yeah.
People don't understand how much the school was a relief for a lot of people, but not only for the parent, but for the kids.
Yeah.
For many kids, socialization, school. Many kids escaping abuse, school.
Yeah. So how many are you getting? I'm just curious. Are you getting positive response, or were you?
Out the night before last.
Oh,
so this
okay.
is fresh off the press.
Yeah, this is different. Yeah.
We have to go after our children. We have to go after our children. We cannot afford for our children to be put in a situation where they're disadvantaged to learn. There's too many churches here that if they're willing to do the right thing, and if anyone have any questions about this, please feel free to give me a call at 561-201-2443. Perhaps your pastor hasn't received an email yet, but if you're listening to me, give me a call. We want to work with you, and we're not asking you to do it for free. We're looking at how we're going to do this, find the funding that helps support this, because our children are important.
Yeah. Have you talked to the school district about this?
Well, we're already, all that's.
Oh, well, you did say it was kind of new, so yeah.
Plan.
Okay, interesting.
The Clergy Alliance, as you read, we have different committees. Education committee is one of those.
Oh.
And Dr. Robinson just have to be the chair of the educational committee.
Okay. Now tell people, I think y'all have a website, right?
Yes. So you can Palm Beach County Clergy Alliance, www.pbcclergyalliance.org.
Right. Okay. And then yeah, I wanted to ask you about that too. The membership, I know you told me earlier that you've got some white pastors. Any Caribbeans?
Yeah, we have a couple Caribbeans.
Yeah, because there was a couple on this radio station. Maybe we should introduce you to.
Absolutely, I would love that. I would love that. They can go right on that website, www.pbcclergyalliance.org. There's a section there about membership. Our membership is $100 a year, and that's what it is in terms of it. There's also, if they fill out where it says contact us, they will be privy to getting our newsletters. That our first newsletter will be coming out in another month, and all the communication that we need to make sure that people are abreast.
So I got to jump in here, right?
Okay, Miss Jillian.
So I'm on this trip, Pastor. My trip is really and truly, as it says, all inclusive. I'm looking at banking,
right?
And we during this COVID, They gave stimulus money to people, gave stimulus money to banks, and banks denied our small businesses in our community in astronomical numbers. Those big banks said, no, we're not giving you all the money. And the smaller banks gave it to them. If we are to become an independent community, we have to remember Tulsa.
Yes, absolutely.
And we have to go back and bank black. How are you looking, or are you guys considering moving funds from these institutions that just do not support minority businesses into black banks to empower our community?
Well, that's really important because we have an economics chair. And one of the things that we are looking into is how do we position ourselves to not only get funds, but definitely recognize those institutions that are not supportive of us. And it's kind of like in a sense of what's going to happen on July 7th, the national blackout. So we want to black out by not spending money. And just like that works inside of us withholding our dollars and not spending on July 7th, it also works another way. That we now can say, look here, we are important, but we're not just going to be consumers. We're going to be people that now own. And so guess what? They have to release this money or that we have power.
Right.
That's what we're realizing now.
Right.
And as far as the Black
We've
Wall
got
Street,
to realize
the
that.
Black Wall Street, part of something that we're doing there as well is that there are classes that are going to be offered to show people how to not only get their business credit line, get themselves together,
Get the
so that
credit.
they can have money. Let me tell you something. In many ways, business credit is easier to get than personal credit.
Right. Right.
So those are things we're teaching.
Right. They have something going around these days, but in the Caribbean we do things called susu and partner.
I'm very familiar with
And the susu and the partner is how, I know a lot of black Americans ask, well, how do those Caribbean people just come here and they could afford to buy a Mercedes and they could afford to buy a house and they only been here 5 years or 10 years and I've been living here all my life and I can't even afford, I'm still in an apartment, I'm still renting. And I know, coming from New York, growing up in New York, and coming down here, banks in New York recognize the susu and the partner as a true way of saving.
It is. I was just introduced to Susu about 3 weeks ago from one of
So that's not like
So
a real
tell
susu.
me, I don't know
I'm
what
gonna
susu
say, I'm gonna
is.
say
What
that's
is
not a real
susu?
susu.
Pastor.
And I'll tell you
The
why.
money is real
We've
money.
only got
No.
1 minute to go.
I know.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you why that's not a real susu, because you have to bring somebody in.
Right.
A real susu is an established group where the money goes around and around and around. You're not required to bring anybody in. It is based on trust and not having to seek to bring anybody in. Anytime you have to, is dependent on new people coming in. It's sort of like a pyramid because it can fall out if you don't get to bring somebody else in. But a real susu, you establish a group, and that group pays in on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis for a specific pot of money that they will draw out. And that group can continue doing that over a course of time. So, but we need to look at a financial
This is the
part.
first time I've seen your teeth since you've been here. You
You smiled on the susu.
Well, because Susu, because I think if you bring in an intimate group of people, family, because that reflects more of what your
Right.
Susu
Correct.
is in terms of
Correct.
that. But I've seen it work. I have a friend of mine; they're doing very well in it. And as a matter of fact, I'm just not joining. So that's
Wow.
Okay,
Love
okay,
it.
okay,
Well, that
okay.
sounds like another show.
Okay.
All right.
But
well,
it's moving. It's moving. It's moved during this time.
All
We got.
right.
Ooh,
But
done.
no, but thank you, Pastor Thicklin, for coming on the show. And we're you're the president of the Palm Beach County Clergy Alliance. Thank you for coming on to Cocoa Chats.
so good being with you.
We're
Okay.
done.
This happens to me every week.
Well, you
That's
could
all
come back in and say, you could come back in and close out. You
Well,
could
I'm
come
gonna
back in
do
and close out.
something.
You can
What?
come back in and close out. So how much is your susu? How much is your flour? Because
500.
it's 500. That's how much you draw out? No, that's how much you put in. And you get what, 4,000? Right. Somebody came to me in March asking me to join it. I'm like, that's not a susu, that's a pyramid, but okay. Because once you're required to bring people in, the problem with that is that if you don't find if people don't find those two people, it can fall apart.
Right.
A susu is an established number.
So inside of that, are they continuously putting money in?
Yeah, they're putting it in.
Okay. So how often are they doing it? Once a month, or they're doing it more?
However often you establish. Right, however often you establish.
See, ours is once a month,
Yeah.
and which makes sense to me because if I'm doing it once a month, say for instance I'm getting 4,000, basically, I got 3,500 cleared. I'm taking another 500
Right. You never
even
heard of it? It has taken off during this COVID.
Yeah, exactly. It's
It-
amazing what time does.
I know somebody who
It's
did
that-
$11,000. Who did $11,000? So
Well, I know a young man, their group, because he's a little tight. He was doing 100, but he loved the fact out of the 100 he got $800 in
Right.
about a month. So it's like, wow, I like this. Okay, so
Right.
he's like saying, if this keep working like this, I may move up.
So in New York, banks recognize. So the Caribbean people would come up and they wear in bust up slipper and the head tie up and they go into the bank with $20,000 and the bank person saying, but how you coming with that? Say, I'm in a susu, I'm in a partner. And then they would have the banker, and so they actually started recognizing it as a viable source of savings. And the banks started allowing people who are in susus to get loans because they're showing that they're in
I
this
just wonder,
cycle.
Have anyone actually ever approached some of the banks here about that? Especially some of the banks. What's the other bank name? Valley something now.
Oh, Valley National Bank.
Valley National. And I say that only because I'm looking at banks that are fairly new here in name or smaller.
Hello?
banks. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't know what.
we're still open. We're open, talk.
I don't hear her. I can't hear her. Probably heard me cussing and everything.
Economics is a very big part of what we do as well.
Yes.
So, do you want to come
And-
online and say something about it?
And
All right, hold on.
that's important too.
It is because
This lady wants to talk. She wants to say something. So you got to put on your headphones so you can hear her. Talk, Marion.
Hello.
No, just talk.
Hi.
Talk, just talk. She can't hear you.
Hello.
I have this person is a big help.
She's on
I
air.
am in tune with people.
Okay,
And
so
they
we're
put
gonna
money
be
every week.
we're having some technical issues that Marianne Dozier doesn't really understand. But I do really thank you for coming on to the show today, Reverend Thicklin, because your voice is so important. It really is. And one thing I did want to ask you is just what when I talk to some of the millennials and the Generation Zers here about what they think about how our elected officials are doing. It's some of them are really disappointed, and they feel like that our electeds are not standing up for us. And I just kind of wondered what you thought about that, if you'd heard that from them, and if that seems to be true to you, or
Well, I've not heard that from a sense where it was very convincing. I mean, people are always disappointed with anyone
That's true.
in leadership. I think we have to be able to delineate between the fact, are they disappointed or are they just not understanding the process? Because it's always easy to be the critic from the outside.
Yep.
When you're in that leadership position and you have so much bureaucracy to deal with, it's something else. And that's why one great man said the death of every great idea is bureaucracy.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons that I like being grassroots, because I really don't have to go through the bureaucracy of those
Right.
things. I mean, there's always a certain degree of the bureaucracy, but excuse me, I think the young people have a great platform because they can have an audience with those elected officials.
have you seen any electeds that you feel like have done a really good job during this kind of crazy time that we're having right now?
Well, I mean, I think a few of them have done a very good job. I mean, I look at people like Senator Bobby Powell was probably the most accessible
God bless him.
Senators that are out there as far as keeping people abreast. Corey Neary has done a lot.
He's
in
done a
terms
lot.
of, making sure people are exposed to things and they know about things. When I look at it, as far as I'm going down the line of them, even Katrina Long Robinson, who's the vice
Oh,
mayor
yeah.
of Westlake. And I said she's trying to be the most popular vice mayor of any office I know. I don't know who the mayor is, but I know who the vice mayor is.
And I had never even heard of her city until I actually met her.
Yeah, I think that became what the 30th municipality here in Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
But she's on the ball. You always see her engaged in things and making sure things happen. So yeah, there are some that are doing great jobs, and I probably overlooked some others, but those are ones that come immediately to mind.
Okay, cool. All right.
Extended. All right, so guys, just so you know, this is sort of like an extended version of Cocoa Chats. We had it open. So, Marion, close it out, baby.
Yeah, so Pastor Thicklin, tell us again how people can reach you if they want to get more information or if they want to, work with you guys.
Sure. You can reach me at this is my cell number, 561-201-2443. Please go to the Palm Beach County Clergy Alliance website, www.pbcclergyalliance.org.
Perfect. And y'all's website is really cool too. I like those pictures.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
We
Yeah.
want more people to come aboard. One thing that is
unique but you want more people who pray though. You don't want people who cuss.
No, let this. We can pray for people that cuss, right? Okay.
Okay.
Moses cuss, right? Peter cuss.
Okay.
Sorry.
We can pray for them.
It ain't the worst thing.
But
we need
yeah.
more people involved. Sure.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today with me, Marion Dozier, and with Miss Jillian from
My pleasure.
Madam Drive Time. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for tuning in.